Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap. This is the brand new OPPO N2 Flip, and I'm here in London with OPPO for the big launch. If you saw my video, you'll know I'm a big fan of the regular N2, the Flip's foldable tablet brother, but that was only launched in China, so I'm happy to report the N2 Flip is coming out, and here in the UK, it'll cost you £849. Okay, back at the studio now, and while I am at the launch event, OPPO also very kindly sent me this a couple of weeks ago, so I've had some time to play with it. I have a few thoughts I want to share with you, but I think it's also important to put it in context, talk about the competition, which of course is the Galaxy Flip 4. With the N2 Flip, we have this much bigger and brighter and taller cover screen, offering a handful of widgets and notifications. You can quick reply to messages, and most importantly, for the camera, whether it's for taking selfies with the main high-quality cameras, or just as a viewfinder for your subjects. Then, opening it up, and the first thing you may notice, or actually you might not notice, is the crease. They have decreased it. With both phones in front of me, I can tell you it's a night and day difference on the N2 Flip. It is almost invisible and you can barely feel it. And it's thanks to the teardrop rather than U-shaped design of the screen and the hinge, their next-gen Flexion hinge, which may not sound like a big deal, but when you're feeling it with every swipe and scroll, which of course is a much bigger issue with flip phones rather than folding phones, from a user experience, it's a genuinely big upgrade. Now, when I said OPPO sent me a review sample, what I actually meant is they sent me two review samples. I have the purple one here and the black one. And with this one, they said, open it up, have a look at the hinge and also the battery layout because, well, they're pretty proud of it. I'm telling you, Jerry Rig Everything would do a much better job at this than me, so please don't try this at home. So here we go, and with a little heat gun to melt some of the adhesive around the edges, I can slide my little guitar puck in there and pry off the back. And opening it up, you can see we have this huge battery. This is a 4,300 mAh battery, and they're also saying it's a high efficiency battery, so they can squeeze a little bit more juice out of the cell. We have the two camera lenses at the top here. Given how thin this is, we're talking just 7.5mm when open, they've squeezed an awful lot in here. Now from the front, once I peel away the UTG or ultra thin glass, which is always good to see, we get a better look at that new Flexion hinge, which not only gives us that no gap design, but they say gives us a 63% smaller crease compared to their previous hinge. And OPPO say they've tested the opening and closing mechanism for durability over 400,000 times. And also on the back, we get Gorilla Glass 5. Because another big upgrade is the battery. In here, they've managed to squeeze in a 4,300 mAh battery. And for context, in the Flip 4, we have a 3,700 mAh battery. And actually, it's a more efficient battery as well, so they say you can get an extra 10% out of it compared to just a regular 4,300 mAh battery. So the N2 Flip holds the title for the biggest battery in any flip phone by some margin, and therefore presumably the longest battery life, although I need more time to test it, but also the fastest charging flip phone, because we have 44 watts SuperVOOC charging. It is actually a 67 watt charger, but the phone supports up to 44. And so in just 23 minutes, you can top up to about 50%, and a full charge is just under an hour. So the headlines are bigger cover screen, a next-gen gapless hinge with a decreased crease, and the biggest battery and fastest charging on a flip phone. Not too shabby. Rounding out the specs, this is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus chip, along with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 storage. In terms of performance, it's broadly similar to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, but OPPO say the 9000 Plus is the best balance of performance, efficiency, and also value for money. And it is a very capable chip, breezing through pretty much everything I threw at it. I only noticed the frame rate dipping in Genshin Impact with maxed out settings. And I have to say, this extra tall screen, or extra wide if you're holding it sideways, is great for gaming. Not everything is suited to 21:9. You'll get pillar boxing, these chunky black bars with regular 16:9 videos, but everything else is pretty great. Movies, games, just browsing websites or scrolling through socials. It's Full HD+, 120Hz, AMOLED, and it does use LTPO, so it'll dynamically adapt between 1 and 120Hz, which helps save battery life. Then of course we have the cover screen, and this is where the magic happens. Well, mostly. It's a 3.26-inch 60Hz AMOLED, and it is considerably bigger than the sliver of a screen you get on the Flip. But I did have to keep reminding myself that this is not a full fat cover screen like you get on the N2 or any bigger folding tablet phone. You can swipe up for a few quick settings, swipe down for notifications, and then swiping right you have the camera, the weather, a timer, a voice recorder, an earphones menu, and then finally your calendar. And that is it. Well, for now at least. You can also quick reply to messages, either using some of the preset messages, or you can make your own, or just use voice to text, which is quite handy. And because we have this bigger, taller cover screen, compared to its rivals, at a glance you can see many more messages. But really it is all about the camera, and you can choose between photos, portraits, or videos, and then you can use it simply as a viewfinder for your subject, or when it's closed you get the full camera UI, and then you can take selfies with the main camera. It is worth remembering though, this is OPPO's first flip phone, and developers and the software need time to catch up, because right now this cover screen does feel underutilized. Currently there is no third-party support, so there's no Spotify or Uber or Google Maps or messaging from other social apps. If those things could be added, it would be a bit of a game changer. In the meantime though, it is extremely handy for the camera, and also on the home screen you can pick a Tamagotchi-like animal to hang out with as your cover screen background. I went for a cat of course, or choose a wallpaper of your own choice. Oh, that's terrifying. Although the beauty of a flip phone is that once you are using the main screen, it really is just like a typical phone, just a little bit taller and a little bit thinner, which actually I really quite like that aspect ratio. And we have ColorOS 13 on top of Android 13, and also OPPO promised 4 years of ColorOS updates with an additional year of security updates. So they are going to support this, they are going to optimize it, and the software is only going to get better. Now, as for the camera itself, not this camera, these cameras. We have a 50 megapixel main lens as well as an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and then on the inside we have a 32 megapixel selfie camera, which mostly I just use for video calls. And when you do fold it, it transitions into this flex mode UI with the viewfinder at the top and all your controls at the bottom. They've also teamed up with Hasselblad again, so we have their color science, plus their bespoke pro mode, and also the classic X-Pan, and of course we also get OPPO's own MariSilicon X MPU, which is their little extra chip which helps to improve low light and HDR video. It's a solid setup, but what makes this really interesting is the flexibility this flipping form factor gives you, the flex form photography as they call it. The phone is its own stand, so you can place it down, set a timer, and get a nice high quality picture remotely while using the cover screen as a viewfinder, shooting videos or time lapses, or maybe if you really wanted to like a camcorder, or holding it at waist height for more interesting angles. It's a lot of fun to play around with. Okay, what else? We have a fingerprint reader built into the power button on the side, although we do also get face unlocking through both front and back cameras. They've also improved the haptic motors, so you get a little bit more of a nuanced feedback when you're typing or you're gaming. Dual speakers, dual SIM, and actually this is the first flip phone to support dual 5G data SIMs simultaneously, which is actually really handy if you have separate work and personal SIM cards or you just travel a lot. And I like this. They've designed the NFC to work at any angle, open or closed, so you can just tap it for quick payments or on a tube at any angle. We get 2 color options, either Astral Black, which has a matte finish, or a glossier Moonlit Purple, which actually is my favorite and, despite being glossy, does not really pick up fingerprints. And you can also get color matching cases to go with it. I really like this little case with its nifty little finger hole thing. That sounded dodgy, but it looks good and it protects the phone. I really do appreciate it when brands try something new, they innovate. And with the N2 Flip, while there are unmistakable similarities to its main rival, they've taken it a step further in terms of the overall design with the bigger cover screen, the crease, the hinge, the battery life. And I will come back with a longer term review of the N2 Flip soon. I've put a link in the description below if you do want to check this out. But what do you reckon? Tempted to pick one of these up? Let me know what you make of the N2 Flip in the comments below, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat. Thanks for watching.